While the focus remains on the state capital, flooding is continuing in regional communities across Queensland. For the second time since Christmas, hundreds of people have been forced from their homes in the town of Condamine. The neighbouring town of Dalby has also been flooded twice in the space of a few weeks. Well, reporter Martin Cudahy grew up in Dalby and he returned there at the weekend for this story.
Three hours west of Brisbane on the Darling Downs, Dalby has been swamped and swamped again.
The people that are getting really flooded and their homes flooded, it's terrible. Yeah, how much can they stand?
In this community of 10,000 people, the pain will linger for months, if not years, even though most of the water has now subsided. In the space of just a few weeks, about 200 homes in the district have been inundated twice with filthy, silt-laden water. Just outside town, Chris Gooding is inspecting the damage to the family homestead he shares with his parents.
This was the office, downstairs lounge, and the office was here. We had a floating floor in here which actually did start floating when the water started rising.
Chris Gooding fears the level of damage means his home will have to be completely demolished.
So really it works out in the better way to up and rebuild a completely new place. The actual structure of the house we can reuse, so that in itself is a help. But the wiring and everything being at ground level was all submersed as well, so it's would have to be all replaced anyway.
The Mile Creek runs through my hometown from east to west. It's one of the main tributaries of the swollen Condamine River. Now, 60 kilometres upstream is the Bunya Mountains. When heavy rain falls there, it flows down here at a terrific pace. And that's exactly what happened a week ago for the second time in the space of a few weeks.
Where we're standing is well above my head. The amount of water that went through homes, 2,000 allotments were inundated with water. Over 200 homes had water above floorboards, twice.
And now more water is on its way to Dalby. Only this time, fresh drinking water is being trucked in. Major pipelines have been destroyed and parts of the treatment plant are offline. It's a cruel irony that extreme water restrictions are now in place.
So, people aren't getting the message. I drove home and actually there's a fella washing his car yesterday and we're not level 6 restrictions. So, people don't understand, but, it could be worse. We come very close to running out and, if you run out, you just have to evacuate the town.
Across the Darling Downs, it will be weeks before road links are restored. 120 kilometres away in Condamine, again water has forced people from their homes. The community remains a flooded ghost town after being evacuated for the second time.
Well, certainly a significant peak that the people will take a while to get over. We've had two significant floods in the last 2 weeks. Been evacuated twice, total evacuation of a town twice in 2 weeks. The emotions are very raw in the community.
On farms from one end of the Downs to the other, rain is normally a blessing. But too much of a good thing has wrought disaster. Water is still draining from paddocks a week after the last rain fell. Paul McVeigh estimates he's lost almost half his cotton crop.
Well, I'd say most of dryland country's history, isn't it?
Yeah. Paul, you've been farming in this district for 40 years. Have you ever seen anything like this body of water that came through?
No, it's been incredible, Martin, that's come through here. Obviously, we've only owned this property for 4 years, but been in the district for that long, and it's a record flood. It's been devastating.
Irrigation channels have been washed away. Cotton and sorghum crops that should be green are covered in silt.
This flood is going to have an impact on not just this district, probably the whole of Queensland for the next 3 to 5 years. It's a major impact on the economy.
Well, this is far worse than a drought, because in a drought you don't get the opportunity to plant, so you don't lose that money. But yeah, it's not just the fact that we've lost the planting costs on the crop, it's all the subsequent money that we've spent. So the losses are quite large.
And even in the midst of disaster, after enduring a decade of drought, the people of the Downs can see better days ahead.
Yeah, we had the cattle down the back paddock and they disappeared in the flood. They had nowhere for them to go, and we sort of thought they might be somewhere. But yesterday, which is 4 days after the mass of the water was here, they came walking down the driveway again. So it's a good story, I suppose.
It's been a big ordeal. They've soldiered through it, wonderful spirit, we certainly will rebuild. We'll be better. Come back in 3 months and we'll show you how good we are.
Martin Cudahy back on home soil for that report.